Thursday. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We're live in Los Angeles. Yes, live on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. I think this is interesting, Joy Taylor joining us. Report Washington is now having trade talks regarding Trent Williams. Trent Williams, a great left tackle. He wants out of Washington, and this feels so obvious to me. The Houston Texans won 11 games last year, and it's funny about football. You know how the Steelers always draft wide receivers really well? They have for like 15 years. The Bears are really good drafting linebackers. Patriots have been very good drafting offensive linemen. The opposite is true. There are some organizations that can't get positions right. For years, the Bears can't get quarterback right. Miami's not been able to get quarterbacks right. Houston can't get the offensive line right. Since they became a franchise, they've been sacked 696 times. That is tied for the AFC lead. And I don't know if it's a scout or a GM, but a lot of times organizations are really good drafting certain positions. Baltimore had Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie used to draft the Pac-12 very well. He was really good Denver West. I don't know. He played at Alabama. I don't know why. Sometimes you have really good area scouts, and you just have a way. You kind of do certain things. Pittsburgh, wide receivers, Patriots O-linemen, Bears linebackers. Somebody's making those calls, but the opposite is true, and Houston can't figure out the O-line, and Trent Williams is fantastic. Now, he's old, and you'd have to swallow some of that contract, but they won 11 games last year, and the albatross is left tackle. Get that thing figured out, because Deshaun Watson cannot withstand another, whatever that was, tsunami of 16 games out of punctured lung last year. That feels so obvious to me. Go Houston, go make – and by the way, Washington now, because they have Dwayne Haskins, they're looking for draft picks. They want to get young, and they want to build, some momentum, some PR. Here's our young quarterback. Here's a bunch of – that feels obvious to me, right?
It would be a great move for them. It would be awesome to see Deshaun Watson not have to run for his life.
Yes, yeah, because I think he's really talented. 15 minutes, Greg Coselli was on yesterday. We're going to have him on today again. All right, Dallas, well – I've talked to a lot of Cowboys in the last 10 days, and for good reason. They have a contract mess, a little bit of a mess on their hands. But Jerry Jones and the Cowboys might be smarter than we think, really. They do win their division 2 of the last 3 years. When's the last time, outside of the Romo injury, did hire Parcells and Jimmy Johnson? Maybe Jerry's a little smarter than you think, and his son's a little smarter than you think. 2 days ago, I said this, Joy and I talked about this, that Jerry Jones just put on a cowboy hat and a cowboy shirt, sat under a nice shaded tree, and delivered an address saying basically, running backs don't win Super Bowls, and he said it with that Texas. Jerry's making a real impact here. Well, Stephen Jones did it yesterday, his son. Stephen Jones came out and he talked to the media. But I want you to listen to what he said, because he's not talking to the media. The media is who he's addressing, but he's talking to other Cowboy players. Here it is, talking about Zeke.
We want to be fair. We want our players to feel good about their contract, but at the same time, we don't want to do things that are out of line, because we can't afford to be that way. Whether it's Dak, whether it's Amari, whether it's Zeke, they all understand we've got a whole group of young players coming behind them that want to be Dallas Cowboys and want to stay here. And we save money, whether it's with Dak, whether it's with Zeke, whether it's with Amari. It's not saving Jerry and I a dollar. It's just money that's going to go to another player.
Oh, that's so smart. Stephen Jones is saying, that guy in Cabo, he's taking your money, not taking ours. He's not talking to the media there. This is not Zeke against the Cowboy owners. Jerry and Stephen have pushed it, move the argument to Zeke is taking your money. So smart. Now it's not ownership against young star player. It's Zeke. If he takes more money, he's just taking money out of your pocket and your family's pocket, and you guys are all great. And there is an advantage to having that sort of, I got to be honest, that whole Texas twang thing makes everything sound a little softer. Somebody with a Texas twang could walk up to you and say, you're fired, and we love you here, but you just couldn't get the job done, and we love you here in Dallas, but you're not getting the job done. I'm going to have to fire you, and I feel bad for your family and your children. but we're going to have to let you go. And by the end of it, you're like, yeah, you didn't do a good enough job. You deserve to be fired. It's that Texas twang thing. And Stephen and Jerry just go on, we'd love to pay you. It's like the opposite of a British accent. Like the British accent is harsh. You know, you can say anything with a British accent, and it sounds smart, right? Like you got that, of course, Paw Patrol is the greatest show of all time. If you don't watch Nickelodeon, you don't understand the world is flat. It's complete rubbish. And you believe it. There's something about Stephen and Jerry and the Texas twang, and they make you feel like they love you and won't put your arms around you, and they want you to be cowboys. And boy, they're good at it. Boy, they're good at it. They're really smart at it. And they turn this Zeke thing. This could implode a locker room, right? You got to go. We love him. We think he's a good old cowboy. But he takes money from this cowboy. We can't give it to this other cowboy we like. It's so smart. It's so thoughtful. It's so brilliant that this is no longer Zeke against management. It's Zeke taking money from other cowboy players. They have done. By the way, Jane Slater was on our show yesterday. You know, everybody keeps saying it's going to get done, but Jane Slater on our show yesterday, Cowboy Beat reporter, said, not so fast.
I reached out this morning. The text back I got on was close, nope. And I said, what is the sticking point then? Are we talking guarantees? Are we talking extensions, Joy? The pushback I got was everything. Now, my follow-up question was, okay, well, do we anticipate we're going to see him show up in Oxnard on August 6th, this arbitrary deadline we've been hearing about, how it affects him being a restricted free agent after this year? The response was, we don't know.
Remember this about Jerry and Stephen Jones. The NFL is owned, except Mark Davis of the Raiders, mostly by billionaires. And yet the billionaires let the Jones family lead them on most issues. Billionaires don't choose the dumb guys in the room to lead them. The Cowboys know what they're doing. Jerry and Stephen know what they're doing. And what they're doing is telling all those Cowboy players, you're all young and great. We want to be in business with all of you forever. That guy in Cabo down there having fun in the surf, he's just taking your money. Really smart. Let me shift to this. So lists can be arbitrary, opinion-based, not really fact-based, but lists are fun, especially when a list is comprised of opinions from people in an industry. So NFL players every year vote on the top 100 players in the NFL. NFL players do. And they voted this year in the top 100 players. And there are 15 quarterbacks that made the list. Now, they didn't go 1 through 15. But here is the order in which NFL players who watch film, who watch quarterbacks, who see their strengths, who see their weaknesses, who listen to their coaches tell them this quarterback can do this, he can't do this. Here is the order of the quarterbacks according to players. Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers, 4, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck. Number 7, Russell Wilson. 8, Jared Goff. Big Ben, Baker Mayfield's the 10th best. Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan. Kirk Cousins, 13. Cam Newton, 14. Carson Wentz, injured a lot, is the 15th and last quarterback selected by players in the top 100 list. It is mostly reasonable. It is not outrageous. Baker's a little higher than I would put him. Kirk Cousins is a little higher than I would put him. I would put Derek Carr somewhere in that list, in my opinion. But players are telling you, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Kirk Cousins, better than Cam. Players watch film. Players hear coaches. Players face him over and over. I do not hate Cam Newton. I was just right and early on Cam Newton. Is that players, and players, by the way, generally like super athletic stars. Players sometimes don't get the system guy, but players generally, they like their Antonio Brown. They like their OBJ. Players like NBA, guys love Westbrook. Steph can't get any credit for players. They love Westbrook. Cam's a kind of guy people would like. Big, handsome, rock star. He got his, he's got music. He's more than just a player. You'd think players would like him. Nope. Kirk Cousins is ahead of him. Jared Goff's ahead of him. Baker Mayfield, baby ahead of him. I don't hate Cam Newton. I never hated Russell Westbrook. I can hate components and part of their game. Is that after all these years, 7 years of excuses, once again, I'm being told Cam doesn't have this, Cam doesn't have that, Cam doesn't have this. Deshaun Watson doesn't have an offensive line. And he's significantly higher than Cam Newton. Stop with the excuses. Nobody is a victim of their reputation. It is all talk show host, dentist, attorney, teacher, quarterback earned. 7 years in, this is what Cam is, according to other NFL players. Greg Cosell, my fave. On yesterday, on again today. Good breakdown on Dak Prescott. That's coming up. We're right in the middle of summer, and probably the last thing you're thinking about is a will, a living trust for your family. But as our businesses post-Labor Day get busier, let's be honest, summer, we all have a little looser summer schedules. I do. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm not going to do that in football season. I like to get things buttoned up in the summer before fall hits. It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom. 18 years people have trusted their straightforward way to protect you, your family, and your assets. Starts with a last will or living trust estate plan. Sounds confusing? Don't worry. They can help you out. Ton of online resources. Not a law firm, not going to be billed by the hour. They just find what you need, get it done with your busy schedule. And right now, it's a little less busy than it is during the fall and the winter. Join over 1 million people who have counted on LegalZoom for a will or living trust. Go to LegalZoom.com, put in the code Colin, special savings. It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom. Your life eventually always meets legal.